On this day 1 week ago, an Abuja Kaduna train bound was attacked by terrorists. On that fateful day, many passengers were killed, others injured, and scores kidnapped. Aside from the repair of the train and its tracks, Kaduna residents want government to tackle the surge of terrorism ravaging the state. We'll bring you details of that story subsequently, but we're joined now by Chief Executive Officer, Security Watch Africa, Patrick Agbambu, who joins me for more on this latest development. The Nigerian Railway Corporation is reeling out some numbers saying that over 100 passengers on that particular train are still missing. But how reliable is the passenger manifest as the only source to determine the number of passengers on the train as at the time of the attack, particularly when you consider the discrepancy between the initial figure and the number that we now have from the passenger manifest?
Yeah, thank you. The discrepancy is quite disturbing because it doesn't tell well of us as a country. It tells a society that does not keep record or take record seriously. I think that the Nigerian Railway Corporation has failed in that regard because what happens, I've used the railway facility several times, particularly Abuja Kaduna Railway, where there are a lot of racketeering that takes place. Some people get on the train without actually being on the manifest, why some people are ready to sell the tickets at exorbitant prices. So it's quite a very disturbing trend that we will have such conflicting figures that is disturbing. But I think that what the Railway Corporation should do and the government should do is to open a center, information center, where people who think that their loved ones may have traveled on that day could register, and so that tracking could commence immediately. And already some people are saying that the bandits are already making calls demanding for ransom. It's also a way of trying to find, it's a way that government can find out the actual figures of those that are missing. Some may have returned back home and decide not to make their presence public. Some may actually be in the hands of the adopter or their adopters. So it's quite disturbing that we're having discrepancy in terms of record and numbers of persons who were on board that train.
Of this attack, some family members of the victims, like you said, have reported receiving certain calls telling them that their family members are not missing but really have been kidnapped and they should prepare to pay for their feeding and ransom. But the Kaduna State Governor was quoted to have said that this was the work of Boko Haram Islamists teaming up with a kidnapping gang. Is there a track record of such collaboration?
Yeah, there is a serious possibility because for some months now, when the Nigerian military and other security services achieved very remarkable results in taking care of the insurgency and the terrorism in the northeast, we had raised alarm that some of the remnants of these terrorists are moving downwards towards the northeast and the northwest and north central. And so there was need to tighten up the internal security mechanism in those areas by carrying out holistic intelligence gathering and sensitization of the communities in those areas. But it seems not to have been heeded by those concerned because we can see that the action, the way and manner, the attack, particularly the attack that took place in the railway track, looked so much of that of ISWAP, the Islamic State West Africa province. I think that these are terrorists, outright terrorists, no longer the bandits that we used to experience in the northwest. I think the governor of Kaduna State could be right that statement. But I think we should go beyond rhetorics. We should go into real action in trying to resolve this crisis so that it do not snowball into a much, much bigger and worrisome situation.
We're told that security operatives are now ensuring to have all of the kidnapped individuals returned. The Kaduna State Governor said that no ransoms will be paid. But let's turn attention to what the Transport Minister is calling a delay in the process of procuring the integrated security surveillance and monitoring solution, which perhaps could have helped in cases like this. It's also saying that in the future, military aircraft will escort passenger trains from Kaduna to Abuja. How sustainable is that?
To me, when I heard that news of aircraft escorting terrorists, I said this is quite amateurish in thinking. It's being hasty in taking such, making such statement, because I do not see the visibility and the sustainability of such actions. They just try to be able to, seems to want to say yes, that the ministry is ready to work. That cannot be sustained. The costs involved and a lot of things. It's not possible for it to work, and it's not possible really. On the alarm that he raised about the delay, I think that the minister just raised some alarm that shouldn't have done. For now, Nigerians do not know about such infighting, so to say, within the government, because if such situation will be turned down at the Federal Executive Council meeting, and he's coming to public now to tell Nigerians that his colleagues in the government turned down the request for such thing, I think that is unbecoming of a minister and when somebody who is a member in the government. It's a total failure on the part of the government. No matter, no excuses. Nobody should run away from it. You can't pass the blame or the ball to somebody else. Really, I think that rather than passing blames or whatever, they should get their hands to start working on a way to prevent this. Yes, some of this information don't need to come out to the public. With security information, or less need to know. Must be work. We want to see them work behind the scene and achieve the results, so that these people or these bandits will not, because they're also monitoring what is being said on television and on the pages of the newspapers. And so the more information we give out, or the more they get to know and plan ahead, because they are very, very dynamic also. So directly to answer your question, I think that there are better ways to have handled that situation. Instead of the minister talking about passing the balls and that, it shouldn't be. And also the government talking about, also the minister also talking about escorting trains. I don't think it's possible. It's not sustainable.
You sound more like someone or some people should take responsibility. I've heard people say, yes, if a football team fails, the coach resigns or is sacked. Then who resigns or gets sacked in this situation? But it's a good place to leave it. Patrick Agbambu is the Chief Executive Officer, Security Watch Africa. Thank you for talking to us in the news tonight.
Thank you very much.